Finally, IS has announced Legendary Chrom's remix and refine, so let's talk about Legendary Chrom. Fun fact, he's a bad unit in Fire Emblem Heroes in its current state, and that's all he will ever be. This remix is not shaping up to change that, because it can't. IS is not willing to give him the drastic overhaul necessary to even put him on par with his contemporaries, and it comes down to this fact. Why would you use Legendary Chrom when you have so many other options in 2023 and beyond? There are multiple other legendaries with effectiveness, like Deirdre, Hinoka, and Shares, who do comparative roles to Chrom, or even better ones. There are more supportive and useful water legendaries like Azura and Ninian, with Dimitri and Byleth due sometime soon for a remix, and who are in a better position to get a good one. There's even his true comparisons in himself. I could go on comparing Legendary Chrom, and more specifically Randigur, to units with a passing comparison all day, but Brave and Duo Chrom exist, so let's discuss them, and Legendary Chrom, together, shall we? While Chrom's perf assist is important, the difference between 2 Change Fate 2, a Fate Changed, and Fate Unchanged is just the secondary and least important effect. I've used at least one perf repo Chrom on every single team in every possible game mode for 3 years, and they stay there for reposition, not the secondary effect. Bonus copier versus bonus doubler versus exposure is a fascinating debate. What I do believe bonus doubler loses, though that will stand to be tested, especially considering how easy bonus copier will just duplicate that effect. But versus exposure, it may be interesting and situationally better. His new C slot, Blue Feud free, as well as increasing the attack buff from 2 Change Fate from attack plus 6 to attack def plus 6 in 2 Change Fate 2. This leads to a dilemma, however. Chrom now really wants 2 C slots that don't exist. Rouse Speed Res 4 or Speed Res 04 both would give him movement and no panic, on top of the stats he's missing from his bonus doubler and perf to make him a well-rounded unit. This makes bonus doubler a bit of a hesitant choice on him, as well as changing his C slot to his new perf Blue Feud free. However, he's gonna want times pulse 4 either way, so helping his bonus doubler will have to be an external factor, something that externally you could bring a unit like Legendary Robin or Legendary Eliwood and get very similar effects. Slightly off the cuff, I want to talk about Blue Feud. It is a choice I didn't see coming, and I think they only gave it to him because 2% of all Chroms have inherited it ever, and that's every Feud skill. It's terrible. It has probably been chosen to make the Senator Dune / Brave Hector matchup from 2 years ago better, but you should be fine with that. My Chrom has no problem with that matchup if he's put in the right position with the right skills, so it just feels like a bit of a joke that he was given a skill that has 0 value for inheritance and 0 value for its matchups at high investment. No one's gonna be summoning for Chrom for Blue Feud free. I don't know what they were choosing to do here. Back to the script a little, because I need to follow this, and we don't need to rant about Blue Feud free for the next 6 years, but we are finally at the most important part of the remix, because 2 Change Fate 2 was never going to be the key that we needed, nor were the skills he was going to get be that great, because his other options were Close Salvo or Deadeye, both skills that most people either wouldn't use or have already inherited, because Randigur needs help, especially considering its sister weapons, Destiny's Bow and Gerda. I apologise on pronunciation for all these weapons. I am from New Zealand. This is just how this happens. Randigur has effective against flying and armoured foes, attack plus 3, and if foe's HP is 100% at the start of combat, it neutralises penalties on Chrom and inflicts attack def -6 on foe during combat. Destiny's Bow, by comparison, keeps the dual effectiveness, but swaps attack plus 3 for superior slaying, cooldown -1 on reposition, plus 5 to all stats and a guaranteed follow-up. Can you see the problem already? Gertrude is effective against armoured only, but it keeps slaying has adaptive stats based on your bonuses, damage reduction and special cooldown charge +2 per attack if its conditions are met. Rendegar is a joke compared to the other two, and it's always been that way. I've very publicly called it a 17 might armor slaying bow for years, because the foe's HP equals 100% condition is far too strict and has never been optimal on him, and it really only leaves the attack +3 useful on the weapon. This weapon sucks. But a 17 might armor slaying bow is still a 17 might armor effective weapon on a base 42 attack unit. A unit that can get 2 sets of movement towards you in a turn with 2 movement per. It's not bad at all, and I've been lying to you this whole video. It's actually pretty good. Chrom's pretty good. He's really bad compared to his sister units and his sister weapons. That's why this refine will suck, because the weapon has good bones. And IS does not want to allow the great summer of Legendary Chrom to happen again. They made that mistake twice with Legendary Chrom and Duo Chrom and their presence in Arena and other game modes. They will not do it a third time, unfortunately. Rendegar really needs slaying and a guaranteed follow-up. That would put it on par with Destiny's bow roughly, and it doesn't make up for everything. Putting it on par with a 2022 weapon is the bare minimum we should get, but it isn't what we will get. They very rarely add slaying to weapons in a refine, and while it happened with Summer Lynn, who is a very comparable armor effective blue bow, and Chrom desperately needs it for Deadeye, his main offensive skill in 2023, it's not gonna happen. If it does, it'll be a miracle and I will be crying tomorrow. He's far more likely to get the guaranteed follow-up, however, and hopefully tied to a kinda condition like initiated combat or allies within 2 spaces, or even a bonus active on unit condition compared to the current foe's HP one. Bonus Doubler, and by extension Bonus Doubler 4 as a skill, is a dream for Chrom at this point in time. It'd be comparable to Get Your Food, from which he could copy-paste stats for how many bonuses are affecting his stats, or a Blade Tome effect to go all in on his attack and visible buffs if IS want to make him different from Duo Chrom to stand out. He could also heavily emphasize Bonus Doubler stacking compared to Duo Chrom's Strand Strategy stacking with unities. An interesting play, but a fun one nonetheless. What will IS do? Who knows? I'm not here to say what they will do, I'm here to speculate until tomorrow. But they gave him blue Feud free. The worst case scenario here is stats and bonuses is in combat against specifically and only blue foes, so just be careful what you wish for, that could happen. I'm gonna go a little off script here at the end and talk about how there is chances, but units don't get good refines and remixes if they had a large presence on launch or years ago. And Chrom was one of the units who had the largest presence on this game for many years. Legendary Chrom is still very good. I'm going to chuck up on screen some of the Arctic Fox simulator against base kits on units. You'll just see how potent a good Legendary Chrom is, and I've been saying from day one, speed is king on Legendary Chrom. I believe I'm one of the first documented speed Chroms on the internet, as my summoning video and stream at time that his banner dropped had a speed Chrom in it. However, this kit is disgusting. That will also be up on screen. But I hope their refine gives him something speedy to deal with, even if it's just +5 to speed, it is something. He needs that guaranteed follow-up, however, to cut through, armored units especially, because he's not getting null follow-up, or he gets, actually, if he could get null follow-up, that'd be great, but we're getting ahead of ourselves. It's not like this is Arcane Devourer. But there's a lot of options they could go for, and I'm hoping for bonus stacking, and I'm going to say in advance that while Lucina's remix looked terrible from the outset, just like this, because we were all wondering what they were doing with her assist, Future Vision, and her weapon, because she only got Swiss Barra 3 if I recall correctly, her weapon made up for it. So hopefully Chrom gets that. I'd like to thank you all for listening, because I have COVID for the first time ever, and have been doing this completely sick and dumb. So I hope I haven't missed anything, and there will be a second part to this video talking about the actual refine and remix and testing in most game modes, because that is possible. We also have a Summoner Duels coming up soon, so that will be fun to play in if he's allowed. So yeah, thank you everyone, and I'll see you all next time.